And I'm very sorry for those of you who are new or here for the first time that this is the sermon that you listen to first, or the lesson that you listen to first. I would have liked something different, but this is what came. So I thought I would share this particular thought, and that is, be impeccable with your word. So does everybody know where that? She's like, yay, I love that one. So does anybody know what that comes from?
Yes.
Be impeccable with your word. It comes from the four agreements. Excellent. This is not a new thought, to be impeccable with your word, right? This is an ancient thought. And of course that we know the four agreements is based on ancient Toltemic wisdom, yeah? And it also is in line with a lot of other ancient thinking. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that and what that looks like in application in our life. So one of the things that we want to be impeccable about is when we offer ourselves for a particular task or commit to something, that we follow through with whatever that is. Now, there are always circumstances that are beyond our control, things that happen that we simply did not expect, or things that are beyond our ability to do anything about. For example, you're on your way to a friend's house, you said that you would walk their dog, and you get into a car accident, and nobody's hurt or anything, but it makes you late, you get there, and the dog is pooped on the carpet. It's okay, right? You clean it up, you apologize to the friend, you say, I'm really sorry I couldn't get here in time to walk the dog, I was in a car accident. Now, the difference between that and this, you told your friend that you would walk her dog, and then you decide that you're going to stop on the way to walking the dog to go shopping. Then you run into a friend in the store, and you go for coffee, and you keep putting it off, and then you show up to your friend's house, and your friend is already back saying, why didn't you walk my dog? The dog pooped on the carpet. And you say, what? I just didn't feel like it. I ran into a friend and got distracted. Do you see the difference between the two? There's a huge difference. One is a matter of convenience, and one is not. If you're in a car accident, that is not a convenient thing, but it's not something that you created. It was not an inconvenience that you felt within yourself, within your being, that caused you not to be able to fully commit to whatever it was that you were able to do, or that you were committed to doing. So, we do this a lot, and then we have this internal conversation that kind of justifies our behavior. Well, it's my time, well, it's my life. Then don't commit.
Right.
Okay? Then don't commit. It's that simple. Be impeccable with your word. See, once you say to somebody, and there's a difference between thinking something and saying something. If you're saying, you know what, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do this, and then you don't do it, then the only person that you've disappointed is you.
Right. Right.
If you say to that person, I'm going to do this, and then you don't do it, who have you now affected? You've affected yourself, you've disappointed yourself because you didn't do it, and that other person that's waiting for you to do whatever it was that you had committed to doing. So now you've drugged somebody else into that bubble, that sphere of influence that you have. So we want to be impeccable with our word in our behavior and commitments to others. This is a serious thing. And sometimes they're small things, but sometimes they're big things. Right? So we want to examine that in ourselves and see, am I doing this? The other thing that you want to be impeccable with your word about is how you express yourself. There is a time and a place for everything. There's a time for laughing, there's a time for crying, there's a time for dancing, and there's a time for not. In order for you to meet your commitments, you must know how to be a balanced person. Right? You have to make plans in advance so that you know that those are things that you need to do. You have to be impeccable with your word internally. And what I'm doing is what I'm doing going to affect my ability to be able to function in a way so that I can meet my commitments and keep my word. Am I working in line with the vibration of truthfulness and honesty? I'll give you an example. I want to quit smoking. How many people do you know that smoke that have said to you, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit smoking sometime soon. I'm going to quit smoking. And then you see them, and what are they doing? Smoking. So they're not working in line with that vibration. So what do you say to them? Nothing. You say absolutely nothing, because it's a judgment issue. But if you're that person that's smoking, shouldn't you be having that conversation with yourself? Why did I go and buy the cigarettes? See, it's the beginning. It's the beginning of the intention that creates the inability to be impeccable with our word. It just simply isn't there. If you're going to the store and buying cigarettes, are you going to quit smoking? No. So it starts from a frankness within yourself. Be impeccable with your word internally. Don't say to people, I'm going to quit smoking if you're not going to quit smoking. Don't say to yourself you're going to quit smoking if you're not going to quit smoking. Okay? And this is in line with a parable that came to mind when I was thinking about this, and it was about two men. We're going to call it two guys. Does anybody remember that story, two guys? There are two guys. And this landowner says, hey, can you do me a favor and come to my vineyard and help pick some grapes to these two guys? One guy says, yeah, I'll be there tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I'll be there. The other guy says, yeah, I'm busy. I got stuff to do. And the landowner says, all right, fine, whatever. So the next day comes, sun comes up. Guess what? One guy shows up. Which guy?
The one that was busy.
The one that was busy. The other guy, we have no idea where he went. He's gone. So, which is worse? The guy who said that he'd come and didn't come? Or the guy who said, I can't make it, and he showed up? Right? Mm-hmm. We know. Because if you show up, how cool is that? People go, oh my gosh, you're here. How awesome is that? And what do you say to the guy that didn't show up when you see him next time? Where the heck were you? I was waiting for you.
I was relying on you.
I was relying on you. I was relying on you to be there. So that's part of being impeccable with our word. Your word has power. The things that you say to yourself in your head, the things that you sound down into your heart, the things that you say with your mouth, all of these things have power in your life. For good or not so good. I'm not going to say evil because it's not really evil. It's just not for your best and highest good. Right? So say things that bring life, that bring happiness, that bring joy, that facilitate good, that bear knowledge. Good fruit, good fruit. I know each and every one of you. You all have this incredible power to share wonderful things that you are. Be careful what you promise to do to yourself and to others. Because there's nothing worse than being disappointed in yourself or disappointed in somebody else. And work with the intention of those words. So don't start down a path with no intention to make it to the end. Make a plan. I like what Calvin George says, make a B plan. Make a plan, and then if you get halfway and you need to change your mind, make a B plan. Mm-hmm. Make a B plan. And then finishing this thought, because it's not a long lesson, but finishing this thought is when you don't meet the expectations of yourself or of others because of something that you have said or done, what are the words that you should use to heal that situation? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I recognize that I said something that I was unable to live up to. I recognize that. And that's okay, but you know what? It goes a long way. It's a silly thing. You know, of course I would say I'm sorry. No. Say you're sorry. Sincerely say you're sorry. It will cover over a possible breach in a relationship. And when someone does that to you, how are you impeccable with your word in that you know, I give freely and forgive freely? You say, absolutely, I understand, because I've been in your shoes. I've done that. I've said I was going to do something and then wasn't able to do it. For whatever reason. So we forgive and we ask for forgiveness. And I leave that with you if it's pleasant.
And Suzanne?